I am so excited to talk about today's topic, which is about credit score. Now, your credit score is something that everyone needs, whether it is buying a home, a car, or you're wanting to start a business and need a loan. It is important to establish good credit and early on. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Bittany Greene. Brittany is CEO and founder of Crown Financial, where it is her mission to help people increase their credit scores from anywhere between 50 points and 300 points, all without using a credit repair company. Brittany has been seen on Yahoo Finance, Yahoo News, NBC, Fox, Buzzfeed, 103 Beat Miami, and HBCU Wall Street. Let's welcome to the show, Brittany. Brittany, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm phenomenal. How are you?
I'm doing awesome.
Awesome.
Well, listen, so we are talking about credit score, and I know I'm talking to the guru of gurus when I'm talking to you. So let's just dive right in.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, I know on a layman's terms why we need credit, right? I mentioned earlier, we need it to buy a car. We need it to, if we're wanting to buy a home or even open up a business, if we want to get a loan, we need to have good personal credit. Is there anything else that I'm missing on why someone needs good credit?
Yeah, so it actually kind of goes back to my own journey with credit. So in 2017, I started my journey because I was denied for a promotion due to my credit. So a lot of people don't know that about 45% of employers are looking at your credit to determine if you're going to get a job. And it's not just for the high-end jobs. They do it for jobs so simple as washing a car at Enterprise can get you denied for employment. So that's why I started my journey on fixing my own credit, but I fell in love with the information and the opportunity that people really didn't have at that time. We didn't, we knew that we needed credit, but we didn't know how it actually worked. So I started creating content, courses, books that surrounded around credit education, how to use your cards, when to use your cards, when to apply for things, when not to apply for things. All of the education that we were missing in our home or at school, I created that content based on an experience for myself. So to answer that question, yes, you need credit to just basically breathe. Because you need it for everything, for employment, for lights, you name it.
I was just thinking about like the outside things. I totally didn't even think about the job. Yeah. That is crazy. You got denied a promotion because of your credit score.
Yeah.
Did they tell you it was because of your credit score?
Yes. Because they have to let you know, because they're going to be pulling, they have to let you know that they're going to pull your report, depending on how they're going to do it. Now, they have access to certain information under a soft pull, which is just like, hey, just basically kind of looking at your consumer report. But if they need to look at your full report, they will ask, you have to provide consent for that.
Wow. Folks, if you're looking for employment, this is another huge reason why you need to have a great credit score. Okay, let's keep moving. Brittany, so I know that there's the big three, right? Who are they, and really what are they looking for in terms of credit score?
I think we're having this interview at the perfect time because there's a huge shift that's going on in the credit world that a lot of people are kind of like on the back end about. So right now there's TransUnion, there's Equifax, and there's Experian. Those are the three main credit bureaus that everyone knows about because they can, when they're purchasing a home or a car, any type of credit, or just even wanting to monitor their system, they're looking on either Experian.com, so they see all three reports, right? All three FICO scores, right? Or they may be looking on Credit Karma, where they're looking at 2 Vantage scores, right? So those are 2 different types of scores, but they all report to all 3 bureaus, depending on the site that you're looking at to see your score, right? So that's the main the 3 bureaus, okay? There's a 4th bureau that many people don't know about, and it's called Novus. And this is where, when you get those, have you ever got those pre-approval letters in the mail? Like, oh, you've been pre-approved. That's the fourth credit bureau that houses your information to market credit offers to you, right?
Sorry, what is the fourth one called?
A novice.
So are they coming up whenever you get your credit score pulled up? Are we seeing a novice on there?
No, you have to actually call a number, right? Or mail in something to them to say, hey, I need you guys to cease sending me these pre-approval letters, because they just have a soft pull so they can see like the general aspects of your credit that, you know, anyone can see, right? They're looking at that just to see, oh, can we send them this pre-approval offer that will get them running a hard pull, right? So when they're looking at your report, they're just looking at the soft side. But if you agree to that pre-approval letter and you say, hey, I'm going to do this pre-approval, I'm going to run it, it's going to run an inquiry on your report. So that fourth bureau houses all of that, but it doesn't provide like a score for you. They're just meant to send you marketing materials to get you to apply for credit and use credit.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
that's part one though.
Okay, so with the three big wigs, right? What are they really looking for? Can you just break it down briefly for us and what they're looking for?
Yeah, so right now, and that's why I said that was part one, because we have a whole part two to that answer, right? They're actually in transition of changing the 3 credit bureaus to, instead of 3 private institutions, it'll be 1 public institution.
Explain.
Yes. So this is why it gets good, because right now they're looking at your payment history, they're looking at your credit card usage, how you're using your credit card. They're looking to see how often do you apply to things. Do you have any negative marks like credit cards that were charged off or medical bills or anything like that? They're looking at that. They're looking to see how you manage. What are your behaviors, right? They have this word called trended data. And that looks at what you do on an every month basis. That's how the current 3 credit bureaus are looking at your score, okay? They said that it's best to start fixing your credit now and getting educated on the systems now, because when they change it from 3 private institutions to 1 public institution, it may be a little bit difficult for you to increase or fix your credit score if it was totally trashed, because under this new area that it's going to be under the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, right? And what that portal is currently is a place for you to file complaints against financial institutions who have wronged you, right? Okay. But think about once everything gets merged over there, right? Once everything gets merged over there, they're going to be looking at, hey, okay, what are your current steps, right? What have you been currently doing? What is your current trended data? And they're going to be scoring you off of that. So the way that we deal with collection accounts and the way that we deal with charge-off accounts and building credit is going to look different then. Now, I'm only giving you this warning because it's important that you start working on your credit now, so that when that switches over, right? When it switches over, you're going to be set to go and you're going to have good credit, and all you have to do is continue to maintain it. I'm going to educate you on what to do now, which is your payment history, your credit card usage, understanding your score, understanding all the different types of variations of scores, doing that now so that when it switches over, you can just fall into alignment with what they have going on. Does that make sense?
Yes. Do you know about when that switch is going to happen?
No, but I can tell you this. It's going to be introduced. So once it's introduced, as in like, okay, now we're starting to add in the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau as that bureau, or, you know, that main bureau, it'll only be a matter of time before these fade out.
Okay.
So we don't have a specific timeline, but there are action steps that we can do to help you increase your score and get you on the right place before that transition. The biggest thing is consistency. What are you doing on a consistent basis? That's what trended data is. What is the trend of your data? And by establishing that now, when it's time to transition over, whenever that is, you'll be in a lot better position because you'll know what to do.
Okay, so you heard it out of the guru's mouth, y'all. This change is going to happen. So it is very important. If your credit score is not good, you got to work on it now. Speaking of which, Brittany, please define for us, what does it mean to have a not so good score, and a great score?
Okay, yeah. So the scores, they range anywhere from 300 to 850 under both the FICO and the Vantage model. There's a law passed because I know some people say, well, I heard you could have a 900 credit score. So let's go ahead and get that out the way now. That was on the old way of viewing the Vantage score. Now, it's going to be anywhere from 300 to 850, okay? You have two models or two types, right? You have FICO and you have Vantage. FICO is looked at by 90% of lenders, and Vantage, which you typically see on like Credit Karma, is viewed by 10% of lenders. They are both very, 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 very important scores because you don't know who's looking at which report, right? So what you want to do is, or to think about what the good credit score is, anything over 700. But it's actually to a point where the credit score itself isn't the primary defining moment of whether or not you're getting approved. I've seen people with a 775 get denied for things because their credit is a little too new, right? Versus I've seen someone with a 690 get approved for more than $40,000 worth of credit because they followed the trended data model and they balanced their score out completely. So we're gonna step away from the score just for a second. Yes, having a great score is important, but sometimes it takes time to get to those 800 scores. It takes time to get above 750 because an important factor of your credit is your credit age. And how do you build credit age? Trended data. So yes, the score number wise of what a good score is yes, anything above 700. But can you get qualified for good amounts of credit below 700? Yes, you can. But it all goes back to what have you been doing in the last 6 to 12 months, or sometimes last 6 months to 2 years, depending on if there were any activity gaps, meaning time periods where you weren't active with your credit at all. They may look back further to see what you've been doing and can they trust you to be responsible with credit. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you're saying like 700 above is a good score. If someone has a score of 450, is there just like no hope for them?
No. There's always hope. You can always come back. The good thing about credit scores is that you can always rebuild them back. I rebuilt my credit score 3 times. Once just because I didn't know what I was doing. 2 is when I needed a promotion. And then 3 was actually when I lost that job and I had to basically rebuild. And I took my clients on that journey with me to rebuild. So they saw, oh, wait, no, you actually can rebuild. There's always hope, right?
I love that.
But upon that hope, you have to be consistent. You have to have a strategy. You cannot say that, oh, I'm just going to get someone's unsolicited advice that doesn't know anything about credit. They only know about their file. You got to know about your file because everyone's file is different. Everyone's timeline is different. What everyone needs is different. So you have to learn what works for you. So that consistency, once you found your own personal strategy, and I help people develop their own personal strategy, and then from there, doing those same activities over and over and over and over again, that's what gets you qualified because now they see that you built a relationship. They see that you're trusted, right? Versus someone who just gets a score automatically, but yet they still, they have to build a little bit of depth to their file.
So you talked about consistency. Can you give us a couple of more tips, Brittany, on how someone with a low credit score, someone with a 400, 500, 600 maybe, how do they increase their good score?
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to, and this is going to sound very cliche, but it's literally the blueprint. You have to first understand what you need. You cannot just take action. I'll be honest with you. And I'll use this as an example. Someone says, oh, just apply for a secure credit card. Well, what if you're thousands of dollars in debt already for a credit, with your credit cards? Adding on a new credit card is not going to necessarily 100% benefit for two reasons. Number one, if you don't get approved for that, your limit's not going to adjust. And in fact, it's going to take away points from you, right? Versus if you actually need to establish credit because you have no credit, then getting a secure card might be the answer for you, right? So I wanted to make sure that I make that point because so many people take unsolicited advice and they wonder why their score isn't moving. Oh, I'm gonna apply for a self-lender, which is like a credit builder account for someone who really needs to either establish or reestablish, not for someone who's thousands of dollars in credit card debt. And then they wonder why their score doesn't move upward. In fact, it moves backwards because not only are you adjusting your credit age, but you're running the risk of getting denied. So the first most important tip that I can give to anyone is learn what you need. And the best way to do that is to get on Credit Karma, not for the score, right? Because we're going to ignore Vantage and FICO's score per se, because someone will look at their score and immediately get scared, like, oh my goodness, I have terrible credit. And it's so simple for them to adjust, right? So we're going to take the score out of the equation. Hop on to creditkarma.com, hit either TransUnion or Equifax, and scroll down to a summary page, right? We know the power of colors. We know red means, hey, this is alerting me. I need to focus on something in this area, right? We know what yellow means. Okay, we're in the right direction. We just need to make sure that we're closing it on in, right? We know what green means. Green means go. Great. It's, keep doing whatever you're doing in this section because it's helping you. It's building you a positive credit. And then lastly, we're looking at gray, the color gray. That means you need to establish this particular part of your credit because it is what is causing an imbalance, okay? So to bring a little, bring it back home and make it all make sense, when you are looking at your report and you're seeing what you need, you go on Credit Karma, you look at those colors and you write those colors out. And
Okay.
if you're doing this by yourself, get on YouTube. What does payment history mean on Credit Karma? What does credit usage mean on Credit Karma? And continue to go down those sections because I'm pretty sure there's free content out there, right? Or number two, hire a professional. If you're looking to get results, hire a professional. If you say, hey, I don't really have time, I just want someone to put the strategy together for me, boom, hire a credit professional like a coach, not a credit repair company that's just going to dispute items, an actual credit coach to say, okay, here are the areas that you need to focus on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, moving on to some of like just the no-brainer, quote unquote, tips, pay on time, every time, and communicate with your creditors when you can't. By communicating with them, you allow them to step in with programs that they offer to save your credit score points. I've seen someone lose 163 points due to one late payment.
Wow.
One.
So you're saying pay on time, whenever your due date is, pay on or before that due date. And then if you can't, your money is tight or your money is funny, whatever, you're calling them before the due date and you're saying, hey, can you give me some leeway? I got to get my money right. Can you give me a couple of weeks or let's work something out?
Yes, because especially if you pay it before, you may incur some late fees based on their policy, right? But you have 30 days before it reports late to your report, right? So in that time, you can either figure it out or you can say they may have programs, because I know a credit card company, I don't really like them per se for clients, but I like the program that they have that if you lose your job or you fall ill, they have a protection program that protects you for 6 months and they pay your bill on time for you for that 6 months, allowing you time to get back on your feet. The power of communication to your creditors. So knowing what you need already, right? When going into it, and Credit Karma is really good about educating you as well for free on what you need, right? But not only that, you're communicating. You're keeping that open line and you're letting them know, hey, I'm releasing control. I'm not going to try to figure this out, right? A lot of times we want God to move in our life, but we're stepping in the way and kind of getting in the way of that and creating resistance. No, step away. Give that power. Give your, you're kind of giving away the resistance of it and you're taking your power back, or letting them know, hey, this is what I can do and this is what I can't do. It's in God's court now. He's going to get it together.
Okay.
Right?
After the due date, immediately after the due date, if you do not pay, are you saying 30 days after that, credit cards report that
Yes.
no payment to your agency? So
And
you have
they'll
30
say,
days.
You have 30 days, but check with your creditor. Always check with your creditor. Listen to what I'm saying, but check with your creditor because every creditor is different. They all have different policies. Find out what yours says.
Okay.
Because some do not offer protection programs.
Okay. So pay on time, be consistent. What else?
When you're being consistent, making sure that you're keeping your credit utilization low.
What does that mean?
What it means by keeping it low is that if you have a limit of $1,000 by your reporting date, when it reports to Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian, you want to make sure that your balance is low, under 300, specifically the 30% range, right? If your limit is $1,000, you want to keep it under the 30% range, okay? Under that consistently when it reports. If you got to use what you got to use throughout the month, you got to do what you got to do. Everybody's life is different, right? But once you do, you make sure that by that reporting date, it is under 30% utilization to whatever limit it is that you have specifically. In the example, I said 1,000 for the limit. You want to keep it under a balance of 300 by that reporting date.
So, and you're saying we can call the creditor and ask them, hey guys, when do you report to the credit agencies?
Yes.
Okay. Folks, we're not doing that. We're not even, getting involved with our credit card companies.
Most people think it's the statement date.
Yeah.
So most people think it's the statement date. No, you call them and you ask them, when do you report?
Okay. And we need to know by the report day, we need to get our usage 30% or lower than our maximum allowed dollar amount.
By that reporting date. That's the power of being able to use your credit, leverage your credit, but ensure that it's reporting how you want it to report. People don't realize that you have the power. They fear tactic you all the way around so that you don't understand your power. You hold the power with these creditors because without you, they're not making any money.
Okay. So what do you say to this, Brittany? I am a high performing female. I know, I pride myself on having excellent credit. I've worked so hard my whole life. What are some big no-nos that will plummet your credit score that we are not aware of?
Not paying on time consistently, not communicating, right? Now, every program doesn't offer it, so if they don't, they just don't, right? You have to take those points, but you can build it back up. Not creating new behaviors after you've made a mistake, meaning not paying on time or they didn't have a protection program. If you just said, oh, well, there's that, I'm just going to give up on my credit. If you don't create any new positive behaviors after that, you're not going to see your score move. Carrying large balances on your credit card and then applying for new credit, that's a big no-no. Paying on collection accounts before you have properly validated them. Paying for credit collection accounts and not asking for pay for deletions and not getting that information in writing. Not educating yourself on credit, not monitoring your score on a monthly basis. These are all of the big no-nos when it comes to building your credit.
Okay, that's good. So, yes.
Because I've been seeing this come up lately. For folks who are summoned to court, not showing up. You lose your power when you don't show up.
Wait, hold up. If you just don't show up, they ding your credit score?
Yeah, because it's an automatic judgment. It's an automatic judgment. So if you don't show up, so if a collection agency is suing you and you don't show up to court, you just allow them to do it, it's an automatic judgment in the collection account's favor. Versus if you send out your validation letters and you look to see if it was in the statute of limitations, which is the legal time frame that a company can sue you. right? You have companies who will try to sue you for a collection debt outside of your statute of limitations, right? But if you don't show up to court, that's an automatic judgment against you, and they can garnish your wages. You see what I'm saying here? So not showing up to court when you've been summoned and not explaining the situation, not saying anything, gets an automatic judgment against you and gives them the opportunity to garnish your wages, even if the debt was outside of the statute of limitations.
Okay. Brittany, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they don't even use credit cards. They're using your debit, because they're just scared. They don't want to get into credit card debt. But you're saying to establish good credit, you need to have credit cards. Would you say, can a person just have one, or is it important to have two or three? What is your guidance on that?
So the importance isn't necessarily about the number of cards. It's about your discipline when you use those, right? Okay. Needs versus wants. And that's why I say, do not get a credit card blindly. I don't care who you are, right? How well established, how much money you have. Because I've seen people with lots of money, have terrible credit because they don't have a strategy to it. You need a strategy. And as long as you have that strategy and you know that, hey, I'm using this card for this specific transaction, or I'm using this card, and by this reporting date, I know to pay this amount on it. When people are given the blueprint, they're more likely to follow the blueprint when it's simple, when it's personalized, and when they know they can get guaranteed results. You get guaranteed results by following a strategy. You don't get guaranteed results by just trying to, I'm going to run it up and buy some shoes, or I'm going to run it up and, buy some food or clothes. Let me tell you something. That's the quickest way to damage your credit score. The quickest way, because when an emergency happens, you're going to take care of your bills. You're going to take care of your, and you're going to take care of that emergency. That credit card bill is going to go to the back because that's not important at the moment. You can chip that. It becomes less of important. I could just pay the minimum balance. Then now your score is maxed, or your credit card is maxed out, and you can't pay it down, and now you can't figure out how to get it down. So it doesn't matter how many cards that you have. I've seen people with 20 cards, but they use it accordingly when they have a strategy, versus one person who has one credit card and they run it through the roof. They're not using it with strategy. So strategy is the most important than the amount of cards. Okay,
that's good. That's good to know. So if I'm a person, I have pristine credit, right? Like, again, I'm priding myself on my good credit. I done worked hard for it. And then I am, maybe someone comes along, whether it's a family member, my kid, a spouse, a relative who doesn't have the best credit, and they're wanting to use my pristine credit. What is your recommendation? Because this happens. What do you do? This is your loved one.
Right. The answer is no. I love my family members as well, but I will show them how to get their credit together. I can put them as authorized user on my credit cards, but I won't give them access to my credit cards. I will just help them build their own score up so they can have what they need. But I'm not doing a cosigner, because if you need a cosigner at this time, there's a high percentage that you may default, and then that's going to mess up my credit. No, but I can give you my good behaviors, meaning I can put you on as an authorized user, but I'm not giving you access to the cards. I'm just giving you access to my behaviors so that it can reflect and build up on your credit. This is how people have been building credit for years.
Okay, so sorry, go back. What is the difference between an authorized user versus a cosigner?
So a cosigner is completely different, because they're saying, hey, go to the dealership with me and say that, hey, if I don't pay this account, that you're going to agree to pay it. That's basically what you're saying. So if they don't pay, that's a quick answer for you. When they're coming to you to ask you to co-sign their car or their home or whatever the case is, you realize that you're saying, if I can't pay for this, if they can't pay for this, then I'm now responsible. Can you take on that responsibility? If the answer is no, the answer is no, right? But an authorized user is giving them your good behaviors. Now, an authorized user account typically gives you a secondary card that you can give to the person, right? But you're not giving them that. You're not giving them that. You're keeping that for yourself, but as long as you continue making the right behaviors every single month, it's going to reflect on their credit file as well, boosting their score.
Oh, so they are just piggybacking on you.
Yes.
Piggybacking on your good behavior by being an authorized user on your account, but not really.
Yes, because they're not going to have access. You can restrict that access, right? And this goes for parents that are looking to help their children build credit before they hit 18, when they're around, like, check with your creditor, right? But some of them have it as early as 13 years old. You can, put your kids on your cards as authorized users, right? The standard age is typically like 16. They can get on there. And as long as you're paying your cards every month on time, every time, you're keeping your utilization below 30%. I'm going to even say below 10%, right? You're building that consistency. You're doing that every single month. If you're doing that, your kids can reflect that good behavior, and you can teach them what you've done, right? Let them get your good behaviors, and you can get them like a secured credit card. And by getting them a secured credit card of $200, you teach them how to use and build credit with that $200, so that when that increases, they know the behaviors. They can pick up the same behaviors that you had. It's about teaching them the game. So no, I'm not going to just hand them my credit to mess up. No, I'm going to put you on as an authorized user if my accounts qualify, meaning if I'm paying on time every time, and I know it's going to benefit your score, if I'm keeping my utilization low, right? If I know I'm doing that, then perfect. I'll put them on as an authorized user. They can get the good benefits, and I'll teach them the game. But I'm not giving them my hard work, because then they start having access to control your credit file if they don't pay on time.
Right. And we're not having that. So,
No.
okay, you went into my next question, which was, okay, we've got little kids right around us. We're raising our young ones. How do we establish good credit? So you mentioned the age of 13. How we can establish good credit before they're ready to use, so that when they're ready to use, hey, they've already got a high credit score.
Right. But check with the creditor, because I only mentioned 13 because some creditors go as young as 13 to add them on as an authorized user. But so check with the creditor.
So you're saying open up a credit card for them, or have them be an okay,
authorized user on your account. Like, so if I have a daughter,
yeah,
I'm going to make sure that my account qualifies first. Am I paying on time? Is my utilization low? And if it is, then perfect. I'll add her on as an authorized user. I'm not giving her access to my accounts, but I'm going to allow that to build on her account, because I know I'm making these good behaviors every single month.
Okay.
Outside of that, I'm also going to teach her what I'm doing. So I'm going to let her know I'm paying on time. And when I can't pay on time, I'm calling them to let them know, hey, I can't pay on time. Do you have any programs to help me out? Right? I'm keeping my utilization low, and I'm making sure that I'm paying by that reporting date. And I'm going to teach her those 3 key essential things. I'll get a secured credit card. Open for her.
Sorry, Brittany, you had cut out. You said, I'm going to teach her those 3 essential things. And keep going.
I'm going to teach her those 3. I'm teach her those 3 key essential things, and then I'll open a secured credit card under her name with like a credit union, right? And I will make sure that it's like a $200 limit, right? So if she charges it off, she's gonna get the consequences. But I'm gonna teach her what to do in those situations. But I'm teaching her what I've done, and I'm leaving her that room of responsibility to do that with her own like small secured credit card, right? After I've already built up her score, so that she can kind of get some activity and some action herself. Does that make sense?
Yes. Brittany, around what age are you opening up a secured credit card for her? What age do you think is appropriate for young kids?
For me, I'm gonna say 16. I'm gonna say between 16 and 18, because that's the pivotal years where they want to have their own money. But I'm gonna be teaching them about financial literacy from when they're little. When they're little, they're gonna start understanding the power of budgeting, of saving. They're gonna understand what credit is, because finance is something that should be talked about in the home, especially with children. It should not be shielded from them, even mistakes. They need to be able to see what to do wrong and what to do right. giving them that option to be able to choose, and they have to learn from their consequences there. So teaching them about financial literacy from the ground up when they're 16, kind of giving them, that extra responsibility. Now, if they're getting that responsibility early because they picked up on it, perfectly fine. But the goal is around 16 for me.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't have these lessons growing up with my parents. I wish I did, because I made so many mistakes when I was in college. When you just get this piece of plastic, you're just
Right.
like, and you're
Right.
young, you're just like charging, unless you have that foundation regarding money and the do's and don'ts. So
Right.
I
They're
totally.
sponges. We're sponges. We only do what we've seen our parents do. We only do what we've seen our friends do. We're sponges. So if you can kind of, fine tune what that sponge is going to pick up, you're in a better space.
That's good. I love that. Brittany, what is the last pieces of wisdom you can give our women about their own credit score in general? What would you say? What's the biggest piece of advice you want to leave us?
Yeah, it's going to be mindset for sure, because I'll be honest with you, I can teach you the strategies all day, but when the times get tough, right? When your back feels like it's up against the wall, you may lose a job, someone may fall ill, you may have a pregnancy, something is going to happen along your path and along your journey, but you have to remember why you started. You're going to see your credit score fluctuate, especially because it's something that you have to do consistently. So what are you going to do when you had to use your credit in an emergency and it dings your score? Are you going to just allow it to go, completely down, or are you going to get back on track and do what you have to do? So the biggest piece is continue to be patient and know that this isn't an overnight journey, right? This isn't a race to have, how can I get the fastest credit score? How can I get to 850 the fastest? It's not about that. Because even if you get the score, they still want to see the depth of how did you attain that score? Is this, you just got the score because you're new to the credit game and they're giving you a fair or a head start? Or did you build a certain type of consistency? So being and remaining patient throughout this journey and remembering your why when things get tough, because the strategies are going to forever change, right? Being adaptable, flexible. The strategies are changing right now before our eyes, going from 3 credit bureaus to 1, right? We're in the midst of history changing. Being able to say, you know what, things are changing, but my mind is so strong, I can adapt. I flow easily. Everything this education comes to me easily. I understand, I manage my accounts with ease. Saying and affirming different things like that, then you don't have to worry about the resources. You don't have to worry about the how. It's going to come to you and you're going to know what to do at each time, but you have to keep it all up here. Get your mindset together. Focus and work on that every single day and prepare for that 750 credit score. What does that look like for you? What does that feel like for you? By preparing for that, and you get yourself in that energy space of what it feels like to have a 750 credit score. What do folks who have a 750 credit score, what do they do? What are their mannerisms? Whatever that is, I'm going to act how they act. I'm going to do what they do, because then I walk into that score effortlessly, flawlessly, but it all starts with the mindset. So that's my last piece of wisdom for sure.
Wow, thank you so much, Brittany. So overall, just to recap, folks, in regards to your credit score, be consistent, pay your bills on time every single month. And when you can't, get on the phone with your credit card company and ask for their programs. Number 2, make sure you have a good mindset. You need to come into this saying, I'm going to be different. I'm going to do things different. Yes, I messed up in the past. Yes, I screwed up. However it was, but I'm going to choose to be different. I'm going to choose to go down a different way so I can change my life. Say no. I know it's tough. I know we love our loved ones. And, they're giving us the puppy dog eyes or the pouty lip. They've got tears in their eyes. But you have to say no. There's something to tough love when it comes to our loved ones. But say no, but also teach them how they need to increase their credit score by doing what you're doing. If it's your kids, get them on as an authorized user at a young age, right? Just to establish good credit with them. And right, Brittany, at the age of—
If it qualifies.
If it qualifies, very good. And around 16 to 18, when you feel like your child is ready, try to get a secured credit card of a low amount to start teaching them under your roof with you by their side on how to pay a credit card, so that when they're not with you, when they're off to college, when they get married, that they can continue the good habits that you established for them. Brittany, oh my goodness, I learned so much in this 30-minute session. You are a freaking rock star. How can how can our viewers get a hold of you if their credit is bad, or it may be good but they want it to get better? How can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so I have on my Instagram my link to my bio, so you can do a free 20-minute consultation. I'll do a free review of your file to let you know what areas are imbalanced the most. So that is like how I always start things. I won't charge you or anything until I've seen your file, because I want to know what it is that we're working with. And even if you decide not to work with me specifically, you at least have an idea of what it is you need to work on. So you can find me on Instagram at I am Bittany Greene. You can spell it BRITTANY GREENE. Please don't forget the E. You can find me there. The link is in my bio, or you can find me on LinkedIn or Facebook at Bittany Greene as well. And it'll get you to my website at www.crownedfinancialsllc.com.
Fantastic. And folks, we're going to have all Brittany's information down below. So just check it out. And remember, if you are in a bind, you need help, she will give you a free 20-minute consultation to look through your file and see how she can best help you. Well, that's all the time we have for today. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, share this with someone that you know needs this, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much, Brittany, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.